What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Wanted to talk to you about our friends over at Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching sports. This app is really easy to use. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your cash on a single lineup. Best of all, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use the promo code PFF and download the app now. The top, they drafted Kelvin Banks Jr., number 9 overall. In the second round, they went with Tyler Shuck, the quarterback out of Louisville. Third round, Vernon Broughton, the defensive lineman from the Saints. Third round, they go Jonas Sanker, the safety from Virginia. Fourth round, pair of picks here, Danny Stutzman and Quincy Riley on the defense side of the football. They get Devin Neal in the 6th. And then in the 7th, a pair of picks, Mordecai Matavao, the tight end from UCLA, and then edge rusher Fidel Diggs. The PFF staff gave this one a C+ here, Dalton. So C range appropriate for the Saints. What do you think?
I think so. I think I'm good with a C+. You could argue a B-. Like, I'll start at the top. The Kelvin Banks pick is the right pick. I think it's an excellent pick. I think when you think about Banks' stock was kind of up and down throughout this pre-draft process, but I think he deserves certainly to go in the top 15, and 9th overall slides in right here. And I think I like the idea of moving Talisa Fuaga back to the right side where he played in college, getting Banks in at left tackle. They declined the 5th-year option on Trevor Penning. Maybe move him into that left guard spot, see if he can succeed at guard. We've seen that now in the past. Certainly the Eagles with Mekhi Becton did it last year. It's the rest of this draft that you have to really sit here and kind of nitpick. I think the first part of it is, was it really worth taking Tyler Shuck with the 40th overall pick when you could have probably had another starting caliber player in there, especially along the defensive line where they needed it? And I know they took Vernon Broughton, but I think another one would have been fine for them. And do they really feel like Tyler Shuck on a team in the middle of what should be a rebuild, although they'll never admit it? Is he really the guy? Because now it seems like with Carr's injury and Spencer Rattler's struggles last year that Shuck is the most likely guy to start week 1 unless he doesn't show you anything in the preseason. So I have a hard time. I'm in between on this one. I love the Banks pick. I'm not a huge fan of the Shuck pick. And the rest of the guys, I like them as role players, right? Broughton, Sanker, Stutzman, Riley. I think Devin Neal steps in there as their RB2 right now. That's a really good value in the 6th round. So I think they got a lot of role players. A lot of it's going to depend on Tyler Shuck. Does he prevent you from maybe, if you're bad enough, taking a quarterback in the 1st round next year and resetting that clock again? But I think the Kelvin Banks pick is really good, and then we can really debate the rest of the draft.
I think that you're going about it the right way. If you believe in Tyler Shuck, I think this draft is probably a B+, right? If you don't believe in Tyler Shuck, I think it's a C+, because there's some things that they did well that the prop of the draft. I agree with you. I think getting Kelvin Banks to throw Talisa Fuaga back to the right side, push Trevor Penning on the inside. We talk about these offensive line theories all the time. I feel like when we do mock drafts and this is why this makes sense, and then the teams never actually do it. How many times did we talk about them drafting an offensive lineman there at number 9 to do this exact thing? And so I think that it is very smart of them to do that. It gets the most out of not just the player that they are drafting at number 9 at a premium position in Kelvin Banks, but also gets the most out of Talisa Fuaga, also potentially gets the most out of Trevor Penning going into a contract year as they didn't pick up that 5th-year option for him. So I think this was a domino effect type of pick at number 9 that I think is great. I'm not a Tyler Shuck believer, so I'm not going to like the selection at number 40. And then the Vernon Broughton pick, I like Vernon Broughton, but Landon Jackson was picked 1 pick after this, and I think that Landon Jackson is sort of just a better version of what you would get out of Vernon Broughton, is sort of that versatile 3-4 defensive end type. He's got some athleticism to him. He's got some length to him, but I think that Landon Jackson's more powerful. I think he's more athletic. I think he's built better than Vernon Broughton. I think Jordan Birch was still on the board at this point as well. Princely Umanmielen was still on the board there as well. And so all of those guys, I just would have taken over Vernon Broughton. Jared Ivey was too, but Jared Ivey ends up going undrafted and wasn't even a priority UDFA pick. So I have no idea what happened there. So I'm not even going to throw that into the equation. Sanker's a good pick. Stutzman's a good pick. Riley's a good pick. Neal's a good pick. I like those picks from the Saints, but I do end up giving this a C+ just because I don't believe in Tyler Shuck. So it's sort of hard for me to totally buy in on what they did. And then even though I think the Vernon Broughton pick is fine, there are other players, even at the same position, that I would have preferred over a player like that.
And this is where I'm at with Shuck, is when you look at he went 40th, but then I look at players that went a spot or a few spots after him. TJ Sanders, Donovan Ezeraku, JT Tuimoloau, Will Johnson, Ben Morrison. I think those are all players that could have helped them on defense. So we'll see. If Shuck works out, look, you got your quarterback, but I also look at the value of what they miss, especially a guy like Will Johnson, who I thought, if teams liked his health and his medicals, could have been in consideration for 9th overall there. We had him as a top 15 player. I do wonder about the opportunity cost at 40th overall with Tyler Shuck, when it was pretty clear, aside from Jackson Dart with the Giants, that the league wasn't very high on this quarterback class at all, right? Even Jalen Milroe falling towards the end of the 3rd round. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders in the 5th got all the headlines. So you just wonder if that move could have been made later and they could have got a starting caliber player, to me, especially on defense, on a defense that needs those types of players so badly.